Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a totally brilliant leadership case study from BVM Petroleum, put together by their Senior Operations Officer, Vong Lia. Honestly, what we're looking at here is a masterclass in how you take thought leadership and apply it directly to gritty, day-to-day operations. It's this incredibly compelling look at a department that is absolutely crushing its goals, but instead of coasting, they are rigorously hunting down the threats lurking just around the corner. So let's jump right into this breakdown. Here's our game plan today. First, we'll look at the massive wins from the first half of 2026. Next, we'll map out the hidden systemic risks Vong Lia uncovered. Then, we're going to examine the strategic action plan to fix them. And finally, wrap up with exactly how operations is defining the cross-functional support they need to actually pull this off. Just to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of what Vong Lia is helping manage at BVM Petroleum, you've got to understand the size of this team. We are not talking about a small crew here. This department encompasses fleet technical supervisors, mechanics, frontline officers, warehouse operations, security teams, and all the layers of fuel attendants. Trying to manage that many moving parts, the fleet support, the physical security, the technical maintenance, it requires absolute precision. So right away, you can see why having a structured, proactive leadership mindset isn't just a corporate buzzword for them. It's literal survival. Okay, Section 1. Winning H1 2026. And man, are they ever crushing those KPIs and budgets. The first half results for this department are just phenomenal. And when a team operates at this high a level, it completely sets the stage for everything else. Their key performance indicators are intensely complex, really acting as this delicate balancing act across three main pillars. First up, financial performance. They have to maintain a strict budget capped at just over $2.4 million, all while controlling a massive 700,000-liter trade stock turnover. Next, you have process and operational excellence, which demands capping the daily non-operational treks and maintaining strict quality continuity. And third, people and capability building, meaning rigorous onboarding and targeted leadership training. It's a heavy scorecard that demands excellence across the board. So what was the result of balancing all those incredibly complex metrics? Vong Lia scored an astonishing 49.6 out of 50 points on their personal scorecard. That is a near-perfect 99.2% execution rate, almost literally off the charts. Let's actually put some specific numbers to that success to put it in perspective. The operations department held their operating expenses to just over $756,000. That is a staggering 38% under their H1 budget. But here's the kicker. They didn't get those savings by cutting corners. Journey safety verification checks, they hit 104% of their target pace. Policy training across all 5 functional teams delivered at a 125% pace. And honestly, the most vital metric of all, 0 major safety incidents recorded through the entire first half of the year. But this brings up a really crucial question. When you're performing this flawlessly on paper, you're way under budget, you're over-delivering on training, your safety record is spotless, where do you even look for the hidden operational friction? You know, a weaker leader might just coast on these metrics, maybe take an early Friday. But Vong Lia, they use this stability to go hunting for the threats that just haven't hit the balance sheet yet. Which leads us nicely into Section 2, mapping operational risks, or as we like to call them, the hidden dragons. When we look at their geographical footprint across Cambodia, these hidden risks really start to bubble to the surface. Out of 24 assessment sites plotted from the Tonle Sap region all the way down through Phnom Penh, the operations team proactively flagged 8 of these locations as high-risk delivery zones. This geographical awareness is absolutely critical. They aren't just looking at spreadsheets in a head office, they are mapping out real, physical, on-the-ground vulnerabilities. But it gets way more specific and, frankly, a lot more concerning. Along the National Road 5 and 6 corridors, the team identified 16 active fuel theft zones, plus an additional general hot zone. You see, while GPS tracks the movement of their trucks, GPS alone can't verify driver behavior or how the product is being handled. These zones are actively bleeding resources and creating massive safety and reputational exposure for the company. And those risks extend far beyond theft out on the highways. The operations department is basically fighting a multi-front battle right now. In barge operations, they don't have a standardized unloading protocol, which is directly leading to volume disputes with suppliers. Back at the terminal, aging, degraded assets are risking unplanned downtime. In transport, like we just talked about, GPS limitations can't stop the fuel theft. And in project coordination, they're lacking a dedicated health and safety interface with contractor teams, which risks emergency plant shutdowns.
The big takeaway here, these are highly complex, totally interconnected vulnerabilities that require a very surgical approach to fix. All right, Section 3, Strategic Corrective Actions. Let's look at the forward momentum to actually fix these issues.
Vonglea has built out this really aggressive, highly accountable forward timeline. In the second half of 2026, they're launching a critical spare parts audit and getting a dedicated projects coordinator in place. By Q3, they are going right after that fuel theft problem by installing AI-enabled cameras on tank trucks to monitor driver behavior in real time. By Q4, that AI protocol goes fully live for over 15 trucks, and they'll start piloting a brand new barge measurement protocol. And rolling right into H1 2027, they've got a phased equipment replacement schedule to secure those aging terminal assets. I love the tactical, risk-mitigating mindset of this team. Take the supplier volume disputes in barge operations, for example. To solve this, they aren't just writing a new rulebook and crossing their fingers. They're systematically standardizing all the complex metrics: quality, quantity, temperature, density. Then they are trialing this new protocol on one single barge delivery. Only after it's proven to actually work will it be rolled out as the accepted standard terminal-wide. It is practically a masterclass in controlled change management.
Moving into our final piece, Section 4, Defining Leadership Support and Cross-Functional Needs.
To actually execute this vision, operations is formally asking leadership to step up to the plate and make some crucial decisions. They need executive approval to officially adopt that new measurement standard. They need immediate funding unlocked for terminal equipment maintenance so things don't fail. They need the green light to recruit qualified technical staff to close out their capability gaps. And they're pushing hard for a mandated, risk-based health check program for all their personnel. Notice the really clear line being drawn here between operational ambition and cross-functional reality. Operations can do a lot of the heavy lifting. They can install the AI cameras, they can do the daily safety audits, and pilot those new procedures. But without cross-functional support, that execution completely stalls out. Finance has to actually approve the budget. Procurement has to step in, coordinate, and vet the suppliers. Quality assurance has to validate the training standards. Operations is providing the blueprint, but they literally need the rest of the company to help build the house. Which leaves us with this final thought for today's explainer. We've seen how Vonglea delivered a near-perfect scorecard, and instead of resting on those laurels, dug deep into the operational data to map out fuel theft zones, aging infrastructure, and procedural gaps. They built the exact roadmap required to protect the company and ensure its future profitability. The risks are totally clear, and the solutions are ready to go. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to this. A great operational leader can identify the hidden risks, but is the executive board actually willing to fund their foresight? That is the ultimate test of organizational alignment. And honestly, it's a question every successful company has to answer eventually. Catch you next time.